Hi. Once again we're back to this issue of Sarah Champion MP creating a kerfuffle with her dangerous and explosive statements about how political incorrectness had led to so many Asian CSA gangs being ignored by police. So basically Jeremy Corbyn told her either she quits or she's going to be sacked, and she decided to quit, and now apparently she's hounded for speaking out on Pakistani child sex gangs. But as Jeremy Corbyn rightly explains, they weren't just from Pakistan, they were from many different countries, okay? Bangladeshi, Iraq, Indian, Iranian and Turkish. And the reason why what she said, it isn't because there's a problem with racism here. It's because there's a problem with far-right extremists presently operating in Britain and spreading their hate campaigns all over the internet, and that's being picked up by the Sun and the Daily Mail and all the other gutter press media. And it's feeding into heightened levels of xenophobia in Britain and Islamophobia. Children are being attacked at schools. People being spat on in the streets, have racial abuse hurled at them. Asian people suffering acid attacks. Innocent people being targeted and put at risk because she's in a position of social responsibility. She's supposed to be balanced. And we know damn well, as I've explained in my previous videos on this issue, CSA gangs and UK cover-ups, the idea that the reason why the authorities did not prosecute these evil, sick bastards has got nothing to do with political correctness or fears of being called racist. Go and ask any black community about police racism. Go and ask them. Let them tell you, oh no, it doesn't exist. They never arrest us for anything because they're really afraid of being accused of racist. No, it's actually the opposite is true. The black communities are suffering heightened levels of police oppression and attention. So we know it's a pack of lies. We know that besides satisfying their own depraved desires, these people were performing a service in providing illegal drugs and children to all and sundry throughout Britain, including our professionals and our so-called VIPs, okay? Now, I've made this video today about Hampstead and the Children's Commission reply and response. I'll leave you the link to it, and under that link you'll find these to the IPCC report. This is a cover-up, okay? All these lot, the establishment and all the evil bastards that they've left behind in the same positions of authority and power, they're the ones that all hope to hide now behind the wall of public attention and aggression on the scapegoat foot soldiers that they've now put up. And as a CSA survivor, as I've said in my previous videos, I feel it's an affront, it's an usurpation of my pain and suffering, not to address the issue of child abuse, no, but to increase the voice of extremism and fascist racism in Britain. And what she spoke, what she said, well, it was basically Trump rhetoric. Well, we've all seen how far that rhetoric goes in America, haven't we? We've just witnessed Charlottesville, where for the sake of a statue, these far-right extremists are prepared to kill and maim living people for the sake of a statue. And don't forget, it was a statue of a Confederate general who was fighting on the side of slave owners, fighting for the rights of slave owners to keep their slaves. Well, how many British people would tolerate having statues of Hitler and his generals up around Britain? How would the people of Germany even tolerate it? But that's what America's had to put up with for decades. and keeping those statues up. Where's it led? People walking around waving the Confederate flag that we know represented slavery. They all wanted to keep slavery. Why are they allowed to keep that flag? Oh, are we allowed to emblazon Nazi flags around Britain? It's the equivalent, isn't it? And this is what I mean. You give these people an inch and they do take a fucking mile, and they're dangerous people because they are prepared to kill, and they've already killed a British MP over Brexit. I'm sorry, no, when you're dealing with that level of violence and aggression from people who are totally imbalanced, then no, sorry. It is intolerable, and she's evil, and now she's even using the fact that she's been forced to quit because of the risk that she's put now to innocent people of Britain. Oh, now she's been hounded out for speaking against Pakistani men raping and exploiting white girls. No, she's been hounded out because she's put innocent people at risk by supporting Trump rhetoric as a supposedly Labour MP. And as Jeremy Corbyn rightly explains here, perpetrators could be from any community, and that is why that is what this video explains, okay? Because we're not talking about historical crimes, we're not talking about criminals that have only just come to light because historical crimes have finally been accepted by police. No, we're talking about an ongoing crime and cover-up in Britain that involves professionals and members of all London authorities. It even involves the BBC. If you're going to get angry about the issue of child abuse, then really you need to be angry about this, about the fact that our whole country is being governed by these fucking bastards who now want to use their scapegoat foot soldiers who've been serving them so well for decades as a distraction, and claiming that, oh, the reason why we didn't arrest them because we're all afraid of being called racist. Fuck off. Fuck off. Why are so many black people being disproportionately stopped and searched then? Why are so many of them ending up dead in police custody? No. This isn't racism, okay, that stopped them reporting. And anybody who believes it is, well, I'm sorry, you're a shallow thinker and you're surfing along on the tide of the gutter press. But I tell you now, you're playing a very, very dangerous game, Britain, because we're in a very, very dry forest, and that spark, if it's allowed to ignite and burst into flames, then there'll be no stopping that wildfire, and it will consume the whole country, and it puts every single child at risk, and it does absolutely nothing at all to address the issue of the very serious issue of child sexual abuse, and especially organised child sexual abuse. Okay? And I've already explained the issue of DynCorp International, who are now established in the UK as DynCorp UK, a corporate military outfit that is up for hire by governments in order to keep the peace. They are allowed to bring in staff from anywhere in the world. DynCorp has operatives out in the Middle East performing military actions right now. They've got an abominable human rights record. DynCorp employees raping children, selling women, buying children. So you want those brought onto British streets to police the race riots, because innocent people can only take persecution for so long, and it will spark up. And we do not want that in Britain. That is not what my granddad gave his life for. That is not what my gran worked her fingers to the bone for, okay? That is not what my forebears suffered and endured so much for. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how much hatred is out there, Muslim people and Asian British people and people of all ethnicities in Britain are here to stay, aren't they? Where are they going to go? So either we start to live with balance and we learn to live with each other with understanding, reason and respect, or else suffer the consequences, Britain, and you'll only have yourself to blame. Because I'm very, very deeply alarmed by the rising levels of racism in this country. And even just the other week to witness a little girl, I think she's mixed race, a little girl being attacked by two boys. This is how far it goes. And it is intolerable. And we need to stamp it out. And the only way that we can stamp that kind of rhetoric out is by, as I say, living with the truth, accepting reality. Child abuse is not exclusive to any one race or ethnicity or religion. Of the Muslim people I grew up and lived with in my life, I never met one with a second wife. I never met one who'd got married to a child bride, or who would even contemplate offering their child up for marriage. I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying that some Muslims don't do that, but the overwhelming majority were moderates. And how would British people like it to be generally compared, generally judged according to the actions and opinions and beliefs of the Ku Klux Klan, who claim to be a Christian organisation? So being white, British, you're a Christian, and any crime you commit, it's a Christian crime. I grew up suffering 17 years child abuse, mostly by British white men. Have I ever judged all British white men to be child abusers? No, I haven't. Why? Because I'm sane. Because I'm balanced. Because I accept that some people are fucked up in this world and some aren't. Some will abuse children, the majority won't. And they are feeding on people's fears and insecurity in order to promote their scapegoat now. Asian gangs and groups, Muslims, that's who we've got to focus all our attention on. Let's all spout some Muslim hatred, as I've shown in my other video, Asian CSA gangs and UK cover-ups. I've shared some of the outrageous public comments that are being bandied about, all on the strength of stuff that people like her, like she, spouted out. And that's what she's supporting, and that's why it was despicable. Her comments were despicable and dangerous and deadly. 2 Muslim people got attacked by acid in London recently. There's been an a massive increase of racial violence in Britain. I tell you, the establishment is behind this. They want it. They want race riots in Britain. They want to be able to bring in DynCorp to employ their corporate police who can bring in staff, operatives from anywhere in the world. So think about what you're opening the doors to, Britain, with these levels of hatred and xenophobia that are going around right now. Get a grip. Get real. Face the facts. These fuckers and all the people they left behind in every position of local and national authority. They're still there. They're the ones running the scenes. They're the ones running the media. They're the ones the BBC protected by covering up the Hampstead case and the travesty of justice. Because apparently in this country, fully satisfied arrest criteria means jack shit when it comes to investigating child sexual abuse. Not if it's being done by members of London authorities. And this is a present day crime. These are present day criminals. These are present day children. Thousands of them at risk because all the professionals implicated as lawful suspects in this case have direct access to the most vulnerable children. If people are really bothered about child abuse in Britain, then like I say, again and again and again, stand up for these, demand child protection directives. They're the only things that are going to change anything. And if you're not going to stand up against these, but you want to vamp off my pain and suffering in order to feed racist xenophobia, then that's a further abuse of the child victims and the adult survivors. And I hope, as I said before, other child abuse victims will come forward and stand with me in condemning this scapegoating now of one particular ethnic group and faith, when we know damn well it has got nothing at all. Child abuse, child sexual abuse has got nothing at all to do with any single race or culture. It is a problem in a world that undervalues women and children, and that has legally defined our children as minor. Okay? Remove that legal label off our child. Our children are not minor, they're developing human beings. And until we can give our children the respect and the rights that they deserve, then nothing is ever going to change. And yes, it is disgusting that these Asian gangs and groups were able to get away with their crimes for so long, and I'm not defending them in any way whatsoever, and neither are the majority of the Muslim community, who have spoken out against them, but the Daily Mail don't tend to give them as big a voice. You know, I mean, and this is a totally false headline. Corbyn denies there is a particular problem with Pakistan men grooming white girls, saying other communities are involved to commit crime too. So it isn't that he's denying that there's a problem with Pakistani men. He's explaining the facts that perpetrators of child sexual abuse are from any and every community in Britain and abroad. And as I say, Myra Hindley and Ian Brady, countless others. So, you know, Britain needs to wake up and, you know, he's not blocking open and honest debate here. No, it isn't open and honest debate to be focusing solely on Asian gangs, is it? While we are, as a nation, everybody can fucking well ignore this. The travesty of justice to British children today. It's outrageous. It really is. It is absolutely outrageous, because there's no such thing as honest and open debate, is there? When the people who are debating are relying on xenophobia and actually imbalanced packs of fucking lies. When they're claiming that the police did not arrest these Asian gangs because they were afraid of being politically incorrect or racist, when we know it is a fucking lie. When we know that they didn't arrest them because they were providing a service, illegal drugs and children for all and sundry to exploit. So I'm just going to get some videos up now to show you an example. Right, here we are. Stinson Hunter, top guy, top respect. He entraps paedophiles. Him and his crew, they get online pose as young kids. They say how old they are, 13, 12, 11, you name it, boys, girls. These are the fuckers that they end up meeting up with, that have gone to meet to sexually abuse and exploit kids that they've met online. Have a look. White British, from all social backgrounds, all professions. Okay, there's an Asian one. It looks like, oh, I don't know, Ian is a teacher. There you go. Do you want me to go on? Okay, pedo in Westfield Park. They are fucking everywhere. Okay, there's one who looks from an ethnic background. Counsellor. Here they are. Well, not Stinson Hunter. He's the one getting them. Hats off to him. Okay. Some of them are Asian. They're from all backgrounds. Some of them are black. A lot of them white men. There's even women that have been caught. There you go. 14-year-old. They're all at it. Okay? It isn't just Asians, is it? How many Asians can you see among here? Yeah. The Asians have been recruited to provide a service to the establishment and its fucking paedophiles. And they've also been running drugs as well. So, you know, Britain, if you think that you're going to address this issue by racial hatred and Islamophobia, you're very, very much mistaken. That will put all our children at risk, and it puts our whole nation at risk, and it leaves this country open to further control by all these fuckers, okay, who have sold us down the river and who have imposed austerity on us, who've driven our country to ruin. And what do you expect from fucking child abuse when you've got child abusers operating your government and your police and your social services and your councils and your schools? So, as I've said in my previous video, the quote from Chris Hedges, I'll say it again: power concedes nothing without public demand. So, get demanding proper protection for our children, please. Get demanding directives that will investigate every crime a child reports to police, and it will arrest and convict the criminals, regardless of what race, class or social background or ethnicity or faith they come from, okay? And you know, as you know, I'm not a big supporter of any particular politicians in Britain, but hats off to Jeremy Corbyn, and to you. As far as I'm concerned, I think that you're an infiltrator. I think that you're a covert operative, okay, that's working to further the New World Order agenda of imposing corporate communism on Britain by whatever means. And you claim to speak out against child abuse, Sarah Champion, ex-MP, but actually, what have you done? You've never ever once supported the Child Protection Directives, even though I've written to you repeatedly asking you to do that. You never mentioned a single word about the abomination of justice given to all the children implicated in the Hampstead case. You totally ignored it. Why? Was that because you were afraid of being called racist? No, it fucking wasn't, was it? Because you're part of the establishment, and that's why you're promoting gutter press propaganda, and you had no business serving as an MP in Britain. I'm glad that you've gone, and I hope that you take your despicable website down that claims to provide a service, you know, for children to report abuse. Well, what is going to happen if they report abuse to your website, Sarah Champion, and you pass those details on to police? What, the police who are going to do absolutely fuck all? okay, except cover it up. And if even have the audacity to claim that they were scared of being called racist by arresting known paedophiles because they're Asian. Sorry, fuck off. Especially from a police that incited the race riots in London in 2011. You know, from a police that the black community is constantly reporting are targeting black people constantly. And no, we can't accept it. I don't accept it. I refuse to have my pain and suffering vamped on by alternative right racists. Okay, no, it's time to nip this in the bud while it starts. I'll leave you the link, and as I say, stand up for your children's rights, Britain. Don't get distracted by these Psy-Op agendas that are going on now with our corporate media. Don't forget the Daily Mail, who's so concerned, and the Sun, who's so concerned about the Muslim problem and Asian gangs and groups. They all fucking ignored Hampstead. Okay, so oh, apart from to blame the victims. So please do not get swayed by this. Understand what is going on here, and how what Sarah Champion MP did was very dangerous. She has put a lot of Muslim people at risk. Go and ask the Muslim people who got attacked with acid in London a couple of months ago, okay, about what's going on now in Britain. And that we need to nip it in the bud, because as I say, if that wildfire allows to take control, it will spread out of control, and our whole country, every single child in Britain, is then at risk. So you better think very, very carefully, Britain, before you go running away with the gutter press headlines.